I think it's safe to say after last season, we have all been excitedly waiting for the next season of Battlebots. This one pushed the entire competition to a whole new level in my opinion, with amazing robots across the board. And finally, Battlebots has revealed the 2021 roster of robots. I am so excited. And so today, I'm going to be ranking them. The top 10 brand new robots that I am excited for. Let's get into this. Now first up is Blip, and maybe to the UK audience, a robot like Blip doesn't stand out all that much. I mean, we're used to the old wedge flippers and whatnot, but in the US scene, this is a much rarer design, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, just because it's proven, at least over here, to be an incredibly capable type of robot. The wedge allows it to be able to endure slightly more spinner hits than usual. The flipper design is great, just in general, as we've seen with the likes of Hydra, Bronco, Apollo, Eruption. You get my point. Flippers and launchers are exceptional at being able to throw robots around like it's no one's business. And not only that, but Blip is adorable. I love the little face on it. Plus the little forks allow it to hopefully more easily get under its opponents. It's a very interesting take on a wedge flipper. Now, one thing I also gotta say is one of the reasons why it looks really quite small and as adorable as it is because it's behind the same team as Tantrum. And honestly, I'm really excited about this. Don't get me wrong, I love Tantrum as much as the next guy, but I was really sad that they kind of ditched the original flipper idea because I wanted to see what more they could do with it. So seeing Blip is great. I really hope that they're able to balance out the need for sturdiness and a compact design with some epic flipper power that can send robots flying. I am a little concerned about the forks potentially getting bent out of shape if it goes up against a horizontal spinner, but I imagine that they'll have something in mind for that. So good luck to Blip, and good luck to Tantrum as well. Honestly, a great robot entry right there. Next up is Defender, which I find to be a fairly unique design. It's a grabber and lifter, which the only robot that I can think of with any similarity being Hyperthermia. But honestly, this looks like it's going to be even better. Not only does it have the 4 hinged wedgelets, meaning that it should have an almost unbeatable level of ground clearance, but it's by Team Fast Electric Robots, the same team behind Whiplash, meaning that this is going to be an exceptional robot. Honestly, I'm happy to see that control robots are still getting a look in, despite the fact that spinners continue to dominate the landscape in Battlebots. Nothing against spinners, I love a good spinner, but getting to see this variety of designs is so fun to see, and Defender looks like it could pose a significant threat to opponents. My only concern is with all of the holes and whatnot. I'm a little concerned about how the armor will hold up to some of the big hitters, but honestly, if the team knows what they're doing, and, well, they've shown that they do a lot of the time, then this will be a great first run for Defender. Then we have Jäger, and honestly, I am always a fan of a good clusterbot, and this one has clearly been taking inspiration from some of the meta of Battlebots. On one hand, you've got the horizontal spinning undercutter, which should land a pretty nasty blow, and on the other, you've got the Sawblade / Scorpios inspired Hammer Saw. This means that no matter what they're up against, they should have at least a decent chance of landing some nasty blows. The robots look extremely solid for being half the weight, and those weapons don't look like they're too shabby either. Yeah, there's always the typical disadvantage that comes from a clusterbot, a 55 kilogram robot's gonna struggle a little bit against a 110 kilogram monster. But I feel like with designs like these, you have to cut them a little bit of slack. And plus, clusterbots have proven before that they are perfectly capable of bringing the fight to some pretty good robots. Only time will tell when it comes to how well Jäger will do, But either way, I'm hoping that they can be a nice argument as to why clusterbots should still be a thing people should consider building in today's day and age. Then we have Glitch, and my god does it live up to that name. Parts of the body look like they're incredibly short, meaning the robot also looks incredibly low to the ground. But once you go up to the weapon, that is a beefy weapon. That egg beater looks like it could really do some damage. It's the same thing as I mentioned with Axolotl last time. I really hope that there's enough room for a pretty nice weapon motor so that, you know, maybe not the best weapon motor of all time, but one that can deal some pretty nice hits. But you know, with this unique shape, it means that it should be able to deal somewhat well with horizontal spinners. And the special drive means that it'll be able to glide along much like Shatter. I can't remember if these like Omni wheels or Mechanim wheels, but the point still stands. This means that Glitch will be able to keep that egg beater pointed at opponents, meaning that once it's up to speed, no matter how you try to go about it, you're going to have to hope you get underneath Glitch if you don't want to take a one-way trip to Knockout Junction. Honestly, I don't know how powerful Glitch is going to be, but I think that this is a very promising design. And maybe could end up proving to be a route maybe some other vertical spinners will want to take in the future. And next is Riptide, and another egg beater. I swear last year I was saying about how rare heavyweight egg beaters are, and now look at this. They're suddenly coming from all over the place. Was it last year? It might have been 2 years ago now that I think about it. Jesus Christ, time is speeding by. Lockdown has gotten me in a state where time is both going extremely slowly and extremely quickly. This is a nightmare. Anyway, let's focus on Riptide. Now, if you've ever liked Yeti with its combination drum spinner and the lifting forks, a similar thing I believe that's done with Mad Catter, well, Riptide also seems to be following this trend. Not only does it have one nasty looking egg beater spinner, like look at the size of that thing, it also seems to have some pretty nice lifting forks. This could prove to be quite good in just for the sake of weapon redundancy. Oh, the spinners stopped working? Well, we got the lifters to continue getting control points and aggression points. But I think that that weapon should be nasty enough, and it looks like there's plenty room for a nice motor to really make that spinner get some nasty take some nasty chunks out of its opponents. Of course, it's a wait and see kind of thing, but that's what I love about doing these top 10s. It's just that I get to fantasize about how these robots could perform. That egg beater spinner looks like it's pretty large, and it looks like there's enough room in the robot for a nice, decent motor to get that thing spinning quite powerfully. And yeah, there's not a whole lot to mention here. Like, it's very much a well thought out, nothing too crazy robot. And sometimes while I love crazy robots that go off the wall, sometimes a robot that just knows what it's going for can be all the better. Because if it works, then you know that's because they absolutely went out of their way to make sure this works as best as possible. Next up is Pardon My French, and I'm not going to try and claim that there's some big intricate reason that I like this robot. It's because half of the robot is a big old Drisk. I mean, look, sometimes a spinner that is just a giant weapon is all you really need, you know. Tombstone, Deep Six, Minotaur, like these robots are a big weapon on wheels, and they are all the more entertaining for it. And hell, Pardon My French is also pretty solid looking at the same time. So there's a good chance that that not only is going to have a weighty weapon, but a beefy motor able to get it up to a pretty nice speed at the same time. Then there's Retrograde, and oh my goodness, look at this thing right here. Retrograde is a very unique design. It's got a lifting design similar to the likes of Big Dill, where the part on top is fixed, so no need for grabbing because, well, it can do a fair bit of the grabbing just like that, therefore leading to more weight being able to be put into the lifting mechanism. But that's not all they've done. Retrograde also has an undercutter on the back. I'm not joking, it does. Now, on paper, I think I can see exactly where they're going to go with this. You know, the lifter can pick the robot up into the air, suplex it behind them, right into the waiting undercutter. That way, it can dish out, it can have the control points, it can have the damage points, kind of similar to the likes of Whiplash. Now, I was concerned about those exposed wheels on the outside. Those look pretty much like they could get instantly sniped by a spinner. However, Retrograde has done something that I can only think has really been done by the likes of Mega Mouse and last year's Sporkinok, which I was quite highly praising, in that it has hidden wheels on the inside, meaning that, yeah, sure, it's not going to be great if those outer wheels get smacked, but the robot will still be able to keep driving, meaning you are not taking out Retrograde that easily, and also that means there's 4 wheels? What? This robot has so much going on. I'm honestly impressed by that. But it makes just a little bit more sense when you realise the team behind it. The team behind it is Team Bots and Stuff Robotics, the same team behind Bloodsport. Oh my god. Okay, this makes way more sense now. While I don't know if Retrograde is on that same level, I think it's safe to say that really, this is gonna be one heck of a robot. I think this is gonna be a sleeper hit in the Battlebots arena. And then we have Switchback. And oh my god, I was just talking about sensible designs, designs that are, trying to go by than others, and then we get something like Switchback. Oh my god, look at it! This is insane! I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like they looked at Sawblaze, saw that wonderful hammer saw, and they were like, hold my coat, let me show you how it's done. This is ridiculous. It doesn't look like the ground clearance is all that good, like the wedge is quite steep, it doesn't look like they have anything for getting underneath the opponents. But I don't care. Honestly, this, with that quite nasty looking drum? Battlebots calls it an articulated drum spinner, so I guess I'll go with it. But man, this looks like it could be quite a nasty weapon. The arm is pretty meaty, I imagine, just so it can hold this entire thing, and also likely the motors to be able to run it. But my god, I am so eager to see what happens. I have a sad feeling we might not get to see what happens, as I imagine there'll be robots with low ground clearance being drawn against them. But I want to see just once, what this weapon can do. This is absolutely, this is another thing I love to see. Sure, it might not be the most sensible design, but think about this. Tombstone is hardly a sensible design in of itself, and with it, we got an incredible robot. Who's to say that Switchback doesn't turn out to be incredibly genius, or at the very least, an incredibly genius path to go down for this type of design? We'll have to wait and see, but I love stuff like this because it could potentially be a new innovation to the combat scene. And finally, we have ORBY Blade. Oh yes, I am so excited to finally see ORBY Blade in the Battlebots arena. I was actually just double checking the website just to make sure. I was like, there's got to be more new robots. Who am I missing? And I realized my eyes just were so, ORBY Blade just looks like it belongs, that I didn't even clock that it was new, even though I know it's new. ORBY just looks so professionally made. And it looks like a very solid design. It's got it's incredibly compact behind with the drive and whatnot, with a very beefy motor. Now, if you know about Team Orby, you know that ORBY Blade has actually competed in other competitions before, such as King of Bots over in China. And honestly, it's a pretty capable design, getting a 2-2 record in Season 1.5 and a 1-1 record in Season 2. Sure, that's not a runaway success like the likes of Tombstone, but ORBY Blade has already shown a great capability. And like we saw with Spectre and its Battlebots counterpart, Quantum, success in King of Bots can quite easily be transferred to success in the Battlebots arena. Sure, Battlebots is a lot more difficult, however, it definitely means that ORBY Blade is going to be one to watch. And with that, we have 10 new robots that are entering this new season of Battlebots that I am excited to see. Honestly, I am so looking forward to the new season of Battlebots. If the past seasons have been anything to go by, this is going to be something special. And in fact, if you have a Netflix subscription in the UK, you can finally start watching the earlier seasons of Battlebots that way. I don't know all of the details because I don't have a Netflix subscription, but the point is that you can start watching Battlebots that way if you haven't seen some of those earlier seasons. Now, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment. Let me know some of the robots you're excited to be seeing debut on Battlebots. I'll see you all soon, where I'll eventually have a video talking about the 10 returning Battlebots that I'm excited to be seeing. I'll see you all very soon. Bye, guys! Also, quick thing. If this video gets to like 100 likes, I will do a video talking about the entire Battlebots roster.